Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Mark.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about. Let's start off with that blog. That's what you're seeing in the background there. And basically, last time I mentioned the blog and the website. We showed you the website. And, well, now I'm showing you the gentleman, engineer, will help us over here. If you could scroll up a little bit, on the right-hand side, you will see...
I guess you have to move over a bit.
No, you got to move over because the... Wait, where's... Okay, let's...
I'll move over.
The other way, yeah.
Me?
Right over here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's scroll up. Okay, and you will see a widget down there. That is the Blog Talk radio show. I did promise you I will give you a radio show, and I did yesterday. I recorded a show. We had a technical problem. I re-recorded it only because Supergirl, the TV pilot episode that was going to be shown in September, got shown on the internet. It's a bootleg. And I managed to see it and talked about it. So I have my full review, quick mini review here. We haven't got to that widget down there for the radio show. Basically, the TV show was kind of a mess. They compressed too much into 45 minutes of an episode. But it is the style of the Flash. I liked it a lot. I recommend it. It's all over the internet. So try to see it before CBS pulls it down. Apparently, somebody was pissed off at CBS and decided to put up the pilot. Some people say maybe they did it on purpose to get a feel from the audience. Or a lot of times they put a pilot together, and it does, it gets mixed results. They redo it, like recasting and reshooting the scenes. The big problem I also had with that was the special effects. It looked like they were not done. Either that or they got to get a better special effects company. The flying scenes look like she's hanging by a string in front of a green screen. But it does. I mean, they're trying to make this into the style of Flash and Arrow, which makes sense because CBS owns all three properties, even though they're both on two different channels. But if you get a chance, see it anyway. You'll see and it has a great little surprise twist at the end. I go more into it on the radio show. You want to listen to that? Just go to that widget. You see, yep, there goes that widget right there. That's the one you got to listen to. Okay, there's two widgets there, and then the further down is another widget for another radio show. And that's Talk Shoe Radio. That's the one where we're going to have the chat room open, and we're going to take phone callers. Okay, so those are the three widgets. One, and the other one is a music show that I'm going to start premiering in June. More on that on the radio show. So, because this show is every 2 weeks, in between the 2 weeks, those will be there on the radio show. Okay, now time to get to some serious stuff. Mark, you went to a convention last week.
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was great. It was in Atlantic City. And, usually people say there's nothing to do in Atlantic City. And this is one of the few things that you can actually do in Atlantic City. I guess go to conventions, shopping, or the casino. Since I'm not a casino guy, because I usually don't win, this, like most of these comic book conventions are really exploding. They're really blowing up. It's like every year, exponentially, a lot more people start going into these conventions, and it's harder to walk through them. They should call it like future tech, because I've seen a lot of things that surprised me. I saw this one person, as always, some people bring in the androids. I saw this miniature R2-D2 that this guy had it fully functioning with music. It did all the noise, all the music. So this guy was probably pretty good with his tech. I also saw that they had all the suits that they had for Iron Man. For the second Iron Man, they had them all there. The Battle Droid, the Hulk Buster.
Nice.
It was amazing, and we were just like looking at it in awe. It's incredible, all the stuff that they're coming out. And that's what I'm saying. Eventually, they won't be called comic book conventions anymore. They'll probably be called future cons.
Right.
Or something, or sci-cons. Because these are really great looks into the future, like the imagination of people's brains and what they want to bring forth within the next couple of decades.
Well, as a matter of fact, because what was it? A lot of fans on the internet were complaining that the studios came in, like the big Comic-Con in San Diego. All the big studios were taking over, promoting their products, and people really got sick and tired of it. I mean,
Well, everyone saw it. That's where it was basically going. It took the studios a while to figure out that that's where the audience was, the fanboys. And so they have to go after the fanboys in order to bring them to the movies.
But even fanboys turn against them. I mean, a good example was Dwayne Johnson, who's coming with The Rock, who's coming with that San Andreas movie next weekend, and he told the audience, "Guess what, everybody? I have free tickets for everybody to see Hercules before anybody else does." And
the exaggerated applause. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, and you can see the look on Dwayne Johnson's face, like, "Oh man, my movie's gonna really friggin' bomb." I mean, the audience couldn't care less, even for free tickets.
Same thing was happening over there in the Atlantic City convention, which was called Atlantic City Comic-Con, so it's called ACBC. They were also trying to promote Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was a big Marvel event. It was almost like a big Marvel convention.
Okay.
And they kept saying, "Oh, come on, let's all see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D." And most people weren't into it anymore. They were like, "No! Come on, you're all going to see Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D." No!
That show's not as good like The Flash, but...
No, it's not. Because all we want to see superheroes or people, whatever they call it, mutants, mega humans, whatever they have. Just show some of them in there. Don't be stingy. It's sort of like when they used to have the wrestling, and all the times you see great fights, and at one point it says, "Hey, instead of showing this on television, we'll put it in pay-per-view, and then you have to pay more in order to see Hulk Hogan fight Andre the Giant that you used to see almost every day."
I remember that, yeah.
And now they did that with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, you want to see Thor? Well, he's not going to show up, but we're going to talk about him and go see his movie.
Right. I mean, that gets tiring really quick.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so it looked like you had fun.
Yeah, enjoyed it. I would keep recommending. I think I'm going to keep going. I went this time as a comedian, so I'll probably keep doing it.
Okay. Let's go to the next chapter over here.
Yes.
We were talking about on the radio show about some of the TV shows ending the season. I want to switch it because we got Mad Max up there.
Right.
What happened to the poster of Tomorrowland? Well, guess what? If you haven't seen Mad Max, this is the weekend to see it. If you saw Mad Max, go see it again. That's how bad Tomorrowland is.
So you're saying there's no tomorrow?
No, the movie ends where they leave you hanging for a sequel. I hope this movie does not get it. I am sorry. I'm a big fan of Brad Bird. He did a lot of Pixar animations. He's done a lot of people don't like John Carter from Mars, which he directed. I thought he was great with action sequences. Action sequences were boring. The movie altogether is boring. I don't know what to say about Tomorrowland. I was shocked. George Clooney looks like he wants to be anywhere else but in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if he fires his manager after this. He should. What else I can say about Tomorrowland? Yak, 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 boring, boring, boring. Two robots fighting, more boring dialogue, more yakking, and then finally at the last 20 minutes there's a big reveal twist, and as soon as the movie over, I was saying to myself, you know what I should have done? I should have went back to see Mad Max again. Okay? The Road Warrior, Mel Gibson, and why? Because Tom Hardy is not getting recognized as he should.
He's awesome.
He takes over Mel Gibson's role. It's unbelievable. The action sequence is unbelievable. I want to mention something about Boxoffice real quick. Now, and I said this on the radio show, nobody knows nothing. Now, Pitch Perfect 2 was supposed to make $40-50 million and made almost $70 million. Okay, it took everybody.
Whoa.
That's last weekend.
That's amazing.
Well, right now, it's as it turns out.
See, my predictions are coming true. That the fanboys aren't really bringing the numbers as people thought they would.
Things are changing, right? You're right. And now it's funny because then they grouped on Mad Max that only made $44 million. Mad Max is showing that has legs. Now, right now, there's a big fight between Tomorrowland, Pitch Perfect 2, Poltergeist, Mad Max, and Adventures. Right? Looks like Mad Max is going to have the legs because, well, the Rick Griffin already made $44 million. Tomorrowland has a 4-day weekend, and already the prediction is going to make less than $40 million.
Yep.
On Memorial Day weekend. That's the same thing that happened, I mentioned on the radio show, on last year, July 4th. The week before Transformers came out, made $100 million. You know, the studio was bragging. And on July 4th weekend, again, 4 days, only made $35 million. Whoever showed up the weekend before, and July 4th weekend you can only make 35 million.
Well, the word probably got out.
That's pretty bad. Well, how bad Tomorrowland? Well, guess what? The word is getting out already. It's not a good movie. It's not in my bottom top 10 worst, but it's pretty close. I'll put it this way. Would I go see it again? Well, I always like to see the behind the scenes and commentary on the Blu-ray DVD, right? Well, I'll probably see it on a Blu-ray DVD when it's sitting on a shelf in the public library.
Ooh,
6
nice.
months down the road. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to see this again. I mean,
So you're saying Frank is saying it's no Howard the Duck?
Howard the Duck was even more fun.
Yeah, it was great. I loved Howard the Duck.
This was dreadful, folks. Dreadful.
This was dreadful. You're right. This was awful.
And the big thing right now this weekend, believe it or not, people want to know what's going to happen with the Avengers. Is it going to be? It's already in the top 10 of all time international box office. We're at number 5. Well, it looks like Avengers is slowing, but believe it or not, Fast and the Furious, or Furious 7, as the fans are calling it, it's only 30 million away to take out the original Avengers at number 3 international box office.
That's amazing.
And that's another movie nobody predicted. How
I
is
didn't
the
see it
fact?
coming.
Yeah, and don't forget, the Avengers, the original one, had a little cheat. It had a 3D cheat, meaning people were getting charged for 3D prices.
Wow.
Furious 7 did not have any 3D cheating in the prices. So actually, Furious 7 should be third of all time box office. If you take away the 3D ticket pricing in the Avengers, okay? So not for nothing, F7 is actually number 3, but you know they're going by the pennies. So right now, Furious 7 is only 30 million away from the Avengers for all-time box office, and we don't know where Ultron. Right now, Ultron looks like it's slowing down. It landed at number 8, and it's not really going that much forward.
Yeah, I didn't really was that thrilled about it to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You loved it. To tell the truth, it was eh.
Now, I loved it for what it was, but it can't be the original one.
Nope.
We mentioned that.
It's like once you saw the magician do his best performance, you know, his prestige act, that's it.
That's it.
Like the rabbits out of the hat.
Now, last week I mentioned with Fast and the Furious 7, or Furious 7, as you guys like to call it. What you call it? I mentioned that it was originally a Roger Corman film, and I didn't get a chance to show it. Let me show it now. This is the DVD. Again, I got this from the library. Support your local library.
Before it doesn't exist anymore.
And this one is called Best of the Bees Collection, Hot Bikes, Cool Cars, and Bad Babes. And I don't know if you can see this. Well, it doesn't matter. But right over here, this is the guy who played the original Vin Diesel back in the 1950s. This was the original Fast and the Furious.
Oh.
Okay, and I said in the last show, the writers and producers of the new Fast Furious with Vin Diesel wanted the title, and they got it from Roger Corman, and they had to pay him. So there was a movie called Fast and the Furious. It's right in the back in the credits here, and if you get a chance, you can get this from the public library. You can see the original Fast and the Furious back in the 1950s in glorious black and white.
Wow. What was it, about young punks?
No, about race car driving, believe it or not.
Yeah, but they're still punks.
Of course they're punks, yeah. Well, so it's Vin Diesel and his crew, right?
Of course.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
not saying they weren't punks.
So I just wanted to mention that. And of course, next week, San Andreas is going to come out, and that's going to be pretty much a
disaster film, right?
A disaster film.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to do good because people love disaster films.
But I don't know, because right now, believe it or not, on the internet, what is it? It's called the San Andreas Quake. Right? You know those guys who rip off all the major movies by Silent Pictures? They got their own San Andreas movie already on the internet, believe it or not. And
nice.
The special effects are pretty good for TV presentation. Those are the guys who always do those sci-fi channel movies on Friday and Saturdays. Okay? So there's already an imitation rip-off called San Andreas Fault. San Andreas Crack.
Nice.
I don't know, some title like that. So that's already playing. And, you know, when you have something like that, people say, well, should I pay for The Rock? You know, Rock is good when he's part of an ensemble.
Yep.
But when he does a solo movie, it doesn't really go doesn't go far. So I hate to say that. But
I don't know, because wasn't he in that other film where he was with Marky Mark? And that wasn't that much of an ensemble cast. It was basically both of them.
Yeah, but yeah,
He's great. Rock's is always great. This is the way I look at it.
Right, yeah, he's good, but don't forget he also had Ed Harris in there and a couple other cameos. Who's that guy? Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah.
He played the alien in Men in Black. He had his own TV, the monk.
Yeah,
you know, and he was hysterical in that. So it's still a cast ensemble.
Still, it was basically The Rock and Marky Mark in that film. They basically made the movie, and Rock was hysterical in that movie.
He was hysterical.
He killed. He was better than Marky Mark. He was better. Yeah. Oh my God, he was doing dumb things. It just made you laugh. You would say, "Wow, he can really play stupid."
Oh, what's the name of the movie again?
Oh my God, I can't remember it. Right off the top of my head, I can't.
I know, right? Pain, No Gain?
Yeah, Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain, okay.
It's incredible. Watch it.
Yeah. If you don't want to see any of these movies this weekend, try to find that on Netflix. Really underrated.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now, you saw Tomorrowland.
Yes.
And what do you think?
Well,
let's get a second opinion here.
I have to say, this is my second opinion, my own personal opinion. I have to say, I definitely agree with you. It's so sad. And you're right. I mean, George Clooney looked like he was like beside himself. Like it looked like he didn't want to be in this film, and it looked like what he did for this film, or better yet, what he did for Batman Forever, he did for this film.
Oh.
His heart wasn't into it. His heart was just not into it. It just looked like he was just reciting the lines, and even as a curmudgeon, he couldn't even pull it off. He was just bitter, angry, and unlikable.
Same thing with Hugh Laurie, excuse me. He played the doctor in the house, and he shows at the beginning, and then he shows at the end, and he looked like he wanted to be somewhere else.
He didn't look like he was in there.
Yeah.
He was no house. I mean, the doctor was out. The doctor definitely was out.
We got the puns, folks. We got them puns.
Yeah,
okay.
You can't help it. All the puns are right there.
Okay, and there's another movie that you saw.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the big one. Now, I already mentioned I took myself out of Mad Max. I will go see this again. I wish I didn't go to Tomorrowland. The things I do for the show, we both do.
Yeah,
we went to see Mad Max. We should have seen Mad Max again instead of seeing Tomorrowland.
Yeah, but
the sacrifices we do for the show. I had to see Tomorrowland.
Somebody go see Tomorrowland in order to tell you it was no good.
Yeah.
But you won't spend. But let me tell you more about Tomorrowland, which I thought it was hysterical. So I go into the theater to go see it, matinee, right? So they have it looked like they had all the bells and whistles out for this movie. You know, they were going to put it in the 3D Max or the 3D IMAX. They had the velvet rope. They had a special ticket box for you can go when you go upstairs. You make sure you pay for that. It looked like nobody was manning that.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like 8 people were in there and it was still empty. And I was like, whoa, they wasted 3D IMAX for this, and there's like 8 people in this theater, and it was a huge theater. I was shocked. I had my pick of the seats. I sat in the back, and I was like, still there was no one showing up.
Really?
Amazing. It was amazing. I think the word had already gotten out.
Well, you heard it from most folks. What can I tell you? I mean,
if they could give free tickets, they would have given free tickets. I think at one point they started pushing in the homeless in there. But it seemed like the seats were full up.
That is sad. Okay, there you go, folks. So what can I say about Mad Max? I mean,
it's great.
They demolished over 150 cars. Everything, all the effects is in front of the camera, is on screen.
Yes.
Okay. Same thing like Fast and Furious. I'm surprised that Fast and Furious fans are not seeing this. You guys love
better
cars?
Than Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, it was
better. The acting was
way
better. Tom Hardy. I'm sorry, I have problems with his name. But he hardly said anything during the whole movie. He grunted a lot, which was hysterical. He was just his grunts alone was better acting than most acting I've seen out there.
Yeah,
it was amazing. He said more with not saying that much.
It's more of a facial actor. I mean, everybody knows he can act when you saw him in Batman.
This guy is amazing. I'm sorry to say, this guy's. I think he's like one of the most underrated actors out there
very
now.
Very underrated.
I saw him in the movie The Drop, and I didn't want to see The Drop. You ever heard of The Drop?
I still, it's a movie I don't want to see.
He's in it.
He's in it, okay.
He's the best. I didn't want to see it because the way the commercial came out, Gal Fieri, this guy's going to play another wise guy, wannabe, and then this guy, he's going to be grunting through it. He was amazing. He did a about face. It was sort of like The Usual Suspects.
Okay.
He was that character. He was amazing. You should see it. If I
Okay, that's
recommend this
another one I
to
gotta
me,
catch 'em.
if I recommend this to you, you'll say, "Wow, this was a good choice." And Gandolfini, even he was amazing in it. He didn't try to play like, "Oh, I'm the big tough wise guy." No, he pulled back.
And the name of the film is
The Drop.
The Drop.
He
Another
was
recommendation.
amazing. It's a
Another one
recommendation.
for the weekend if you're
Yeah,
not good at
see it in the
movies.
weekend. I saw it on the plane. I'm sorry to say I didn't get to see it in the theater because I just devaluated this movie because I said, "Oh, two guys who think they're big, tough guys." No, they didn't act like that at all. They
Okay.
pulled back a lot. They were average Joes. That in the end, they came out like full lions, which was amazing. You should definitely see it. It was a real intelligent film. I thought it was just some stupid gangster film, but it surprised me.
But it surprised me that he's come a long way from doing Star Trek Nemesis. Remember, he was
Yeah.
the clone
Yes.
of Captain Picard. And
Right.
the last major, what was that, Star Trek The Next Generation? That was the last major movie that they had.
Wow.
And
He's
he
been around
played a
that
clone.
long. He
He's
is
been around that
amazing.
long. Okay, so finally,
This guy.
but the thing is, when people say, well, it's going to meet up, it's 115 million cost.
For Mad Max?
Right. The thing is, this thing is doing huge international. We're going to find
Yes.
out the numbers. We're going to
Yes.
have the radio show over probably this coming Tuesday and Wednesday after the 3-day weekend.
I think this is going to be like one of those movies like Poltergeist. They didn't do that much in the box office, but later in the DVD releases, I've heard Poltergeist is still pulling in money. It's amazing.
It's funny because Poltergeist or got like a cult status. I still
Yeah.
think is overrated.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's overrated, but I'm saying Mad
Not a
Max
big
is going to
deal.
get this is going to get cult status. The same thing happened with Road Warrior. Not many people went to see this when it came out.
Right.
But it started picking up so much numbers by the second release of the what do you call it? The Road Warrior, second Road Warrior. Yeah, Road Warrior. By the second movie, forget it. People were already in the theaters and had become a blockbuster.
Right, but that's what made Mad Max and Thunderdome, the third one, such
Yes.
a big hit.
Yes.
Because the
cult status,
the
it
cult
just
status
picked up.
caught up to it.
Yeah.
That's why another
Same
reason.
thing's going to happen with this one.
Now, that's why we haven't mentioned Poltergeist because the original sucked. I mean, how
Yeah,
do you
it was terrible.
Who wants to say another one? We avoided like the plague. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't go see it.
Well, we couldn't care less.
No,
So,
I don't think so.
But
I mean,
anyway,
you can't, why remake something that wasn't that good in the first place?
exactly. So, but
I know you're going to hate us for saying this, and all you guys already imagined this movie to be better than what it really was. But trust me, folks, see it, and it's really not that good.
this Mad Max is the best picture right now
Yes.
for the weekend. And
Tom
we're
Hardy,
gonna
you get my big applause.
Yeah, we're gonna find out what the international numbers after Monday, and which this movie will have legs. It's gonna be huge international. And let me tell you, there will be another Mad Max already.
Oh my God, I hope so.
There will,
I will
will
see
be another one.
It's crazy to say this, but this is my recommendation. I'll go see almost anything this guy's in.
Well, let me
He's
tell
that
you,
good. It's.
I'd rather see a sequel to this instead of Tomorrowland.
I'll watch a sequel of him watching television or watching him cut his lawn.
Well, and
He's
why?
like really good at it.
And Pitch Perfect is still going to make it like another 30-40 million. Who's watching this movie? I don't understand it. It's not
Probably
funny.
Glee clubs. Probably Glee clubs. They think that they've watched this movie, they'll get an idea how to become a better Glee club.
So let's wrap it up with yes, because I mentioned I mentioned in the radio show. I went over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., The Flash, Blacklist, Gotham, Big
Arrow.
Bang, Arrow, all those shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best finales for the TV season was The Flash. And now Mark here is telling me that Daredevil, which I haven't
awesome.
seen, is better than Flash. Explain
yes.
yourself.
Okay. Here I'll go into my 2-minute rant.
Okay.
So Daredevil was amazing. I know a lot of people didn't like Daredevil because they said it was too whiny, but I said it was amazing. They worked with so much of their acting to build this movie up. They sort of build up a great. How can I say this? They built up a great city through the imagination of this film. It was amazing. Even the person who played the Kingpin, I hope I don't give away too much if no one's seen it, but I definitely recommend it to you. The Kingpin, who was played by, I think he was the guy in Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket, Men in Black.
Yeah, and he was also in what do you call it? Law and Order, Criminal Intent.
Right, Vincent D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. He
Right.
is amazing. He's almost like the James Gandolfini of bad guys in this movie.
Okay.
He was like first very under under the skin, and then all of a sudden he comes up with his character comes right off of it, and it's amazing. The speeches he gives are very poetic. I would say this is a very dynamic acting film. If you want to see good acting as compared to these other films, TV shows, Flash, Green Arrow, the acting here is amazing.
I haven't seen Flash because I don't have Netflix, and not Flash. I mean,
Green Arrow.
Daredevil.
right.
Daredevil's on Netflix. That's why I haven't seen it.
Right.
That's why I've been just keeping up with the TV shows.
It's something to watch. I mean, the acting is unbelievable. You believe them after a while. It's not like the Flash. They're a bunch of. I would like to say the Flash cast, the characters are a bunch of whiners. You know, they're whining. That's why most people say they
conflict.
but most people say they like Green Arrow more because they said it's darker, it's better. The Flash, they're younger, whinier, and then Daredevil is dark, just dark and beautiful.
Really? Okay.
You know,
is it better than Ben Affleck's version of?
Oh, definitely better.
Okay.
The acting's better. The guy who
So
plays
we went up a notch.
Murdoch,
Okay.
oh my God! And I don't even think you could blame Ben Affleck because I don't know if Ben Affleck knew what to do with the character. Because this guy, he knows what to do to the character. You know, Ben Affleck's a big guy. He's like, what, 6'2", 6'3", maybe 200 pounds of muscle.
But all the fault goes to, everybody blames Ben Affleck. All the fault goes to the director and the writer.
Director and the writing. Ben Affleck was great.
If you listen to the commentary on the DVD version of Ben Affleck's Daredevil, you hear the director commentary. He admits he kind of screwed up in certain places.
Yeah.
You know?
They didn't catch the character right.
Yeah.
But this guy, you could believe he's Daredevil because he's probably, what, 5'8", 170, 75 pounds, if that all. And then you could believe him because you say, wow, this is a man who doesn't have, like, he's not like a linebacker like Ben Affleck. And he goes out there and he slugs it out like a ninja with most of these other guys who are hardly trained killers. And you say, wow, this guy's really putting his neck out there.
Okay.
You know, it's so like he's fighting, he's like David fighting Goliath.
So,
and it's more believable.
So you actually like it better than the Flash?
Yes, 100 times better.
Wow.
The Flash was okay because he has a power. He doesn't know how to use it. He spends most of his time crying with the other one. No, Daredevil, they're dark. People die, and the consequences they pay because of their stupidity, because they don't understand what they're dealing with.
Well, if you go to my blog, which we presented at the beginning of the show, there's an article. We ran out of time. There's an article that was on Yahoo, and they say why Flash is more important than Batman and Superman.
What?
Yeah, that's the article.
That?
That's an article on Yahoo.
Daredevil. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Well, go to our blog. The article is there. I have a listing of the box office predictions, courtesy of Hollywood Reporter, and I got the little mini review of Supergirl on our blog, and it has a link to our website, and it also has those widgets for our radio shows. Okay, I'll be doing another one after this Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thanks for downloading me and downloading the show, and keep watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks, everybody.
Watch us on YouTube also. Peace.